Do you ever need to calculate the days remaining until a deadline? In today's video, I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. One is actually coming up with a number of days left until a due date, and the other one is highlighting based on how many days remain until that deadline. So in this example, I'm highlighting if it's 3 or less, 7 or less, and 14 or less with those corresponding colors. So let's jump right in. So we have our days left where we're going to fill in a number based on our due date and the difference between that and today. So as of the recording, it's April 8th. And so this one's a few days away. So I'm going to start here just with a simple date diff formula. And so the way the date diff works is we have a start date, an end date, and then a unit. And the unit is the unit of time. So month, year, month, day, year, month, year, day, and then day. So day is what we're going to be using here. So for our start date, because our due date is in the future, our start date is going to be today. And then our end date will be that due date. And then our unit will be D for day. So if I hit enter, there we have 3 for that. And so we could drag this down and we have our difference in dates. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this is the difference between, not including either the due date or today as you will. So if you need to include that, then you just do +1 at the end of this to get that included. But if you just want the difference between, then this will work. Now, one thing to note is if we drag this up, that 331 as of today is in the past. And so you can see that error is the start date should be before the end date. And then if we drag it up here, you can see we're having an error because this is blank. So we probably need to add some conditions to this just to prevent us from having some errors. And so we could just do something like if error and then do a dash. So the way if error works is you can run a formula. And then if that formula results in an error, we can do something over here. And so we could just add a dash like that. And then I can drag this down. And there we go. Now we have some days left. And then it's rendering to a dash when there's no date or it's in the past. So that works just like that. And then to add some more functionality to this, so first of all, we could add some conditional formatting. So I'm just going to show you a real simple version of that. And then I'm going to show you a little more sophisticated on that due date. So we can select a column here, then click format and conditional formatting. And then we can basically just do a number 1 here. So we could do, let's say, less than or equals to 3. In that case, we could turn this to maybe a red with white text, something like that. Hit done, close out, and you can see now that's highlighted. So if we change this one to 410, for example, you can see that highlights as well. So it's based on whatever number this is, and then tomorrow this would change to 2, and so forth. All right, so I'm going to delete this conditional formatting real quick. So back to conditional formatting. If I don't see this, like let's say I'm selected over here, and I don't see it over here, just click on a cell in that column, and then we can go over here and click remove rule. Now I want to get a little more sophisticated. So what if you don't want this days left column, and you just want to add some conditional formatting to see how close your days are? So let's go ahead and select this column again, format, conditional formatting, and then we're going to come up with a similar kind of thing here, but we don't have a number. So we're going to have to basically convert ourselves into a number. So let me select our formatting here. And then we're going to come down to custom formula is. And so in here, I'm going to do is D2 less than or equals to day plus 3. So this one kind of works. So our 411, for example, is highlighted. But our 331, our March 31st, is also highlighted as well as our blanks. So the reason is kind of like what the error we had before with the date diff. So this is showing all of those. So the way we'd solve this is using a AND formula. And then we just need to do 2 things. So we do D2 is not equal to blank, comma. And then I'm going to hit end and add a closing parentheses there, just so it works. All right, so we added 1 condition here, and we still have our original one here. So at this point, it got rid of the blanks, but we still have this one showing up in red. So one thing we could do is we could say D2 is greater than today. And that will work just like that. Another thing we could do is we could check if the status is completed. So we could do something like C2 is not equal to completed. And so you can see now it's showing up. Let me go ahead and close this out. So what if this is back to in progress? Well, now it's showing red again. So once we hit completed, then it goes away. So that's one way you can handle that. Obviously, you get a little more sophisticated with more and rules in here. But that gives us the basic one. And now I just want to show you how to do more than one of these rules. So for example, if we want to show yellow, and so I'm going to click on this rule, come down here, add another one. And the reason why I do that is instead of having to do this all from scratch, it gives me what I was currently with. And so here I'm going to do today plus 7. And then come down here and let's change this to orange. And you can see that working already. And now we have 2 rules. And I'm going to do one more. So click on this again, come down here, add another rule. And then I'm going to hit end and then change this one to 14. And then change this one to yellow. So you may be wondering why this yellow one isn't coloring all of them yellow, since they all fit. And the reason why is because of the order of these rules. And so if you did this backwards and this yellow one first, all of them are showing yellow right now. So if you have that issue, just make sure to drag them around until you have them in the order that you would like them to be applied. So this one will be the red first, then the orange, then the yellow, just like that. All right, so that is it for today's video. Make sure to like it and subscribe if this was helpful for you. And check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.